Trading with special cards does not need to be difficult. There are loads of different methods available, from sniping filters, bidding filters, maybe using something completely different for a new player which has literally just been released. But you don't need to do any of that. I have two methods which I use consistently on a daily basis in order for me to make coins with special cards. And they're nothing fancy, but it can still add hundreds of thousands of coins to your account. For both of these methods, you can use them at the exact same time, but if you do just want to pick one over the other, you're welcome to do so. So firstly, let's actually look at the bidding. This is where I'm able to make the majority of my coins, but it does also take a bit more time. It works best for you to look at a specific type of special card, not by their name, but a specific quality. That way you're able to separate the transfer market and only look at one type. Then you're just gonna go and search. You don't need to add bidding filters, you don't need to add buy now filters. You can if you want to, so that you're actually finding players within your price range, but once you get a couple 100,000 coins, there's really no need. In most cases, you're probably not going to be trading with players worth millions of coins. So as long as you have a couple 100k, you don't need to go and put anything in the filters. You just need to select the quality and search. Then you'll just go across each player. What you're looking out for are those with bids on. You can go through and search each player and compare their price, but 9 out of 10 times they're probably not going to be good deals. The ones with bids on have likely got a good opportunity in order for you to make profit. No one's going to bid on a player when there is a cheaper option on a buy now. They'll much rather save the time, and of course they would much rather save the coin. So if there's a bid, it's a good indication that it's listed lower compared to the lowest buy now on the market, and people are bidding on it in order to try and get a good deal for them to use that player within their team, or potentially a good deal in order for them to trade. So that's what you're looking out for. You're going to go across each player and find those with bids on. You'll add them to your watch list and then keep on going across. Normally what I tend to do, and this does depend on the types of players that I'm looking at, but if there's enough time, I'll add about 5 to 10 players to my watch list. If there's loads of these types of special cards, say for example you're looking at team of the weeks, and with there being so many team of the weeks for each player now, you probably don't have time to go and add 5 or 10. You're better off adding one, comparing the price, seeing the lowest buy now, and then placing a bid if there's room to make profit. But once you've added these to the watch list, you can do one of two things. If it's a player where there's not many listed on the transfer market, you can just compare the player's price. And what you're looking for is a reasonable price difference. So if there's a bid on the current player that you're looking at 50k and the cheapest buy now is 60k, you know that you can place a few bids in and you have enough room to make profit. You can even undercut the market so that you're the cheapest at 59,000 and still walk away with a decent amount of coins. The other thing that you can do, if you search the player and compare their price and there's way too many of them, you can just use a site such as Footbin. Footbin is a FIFA database which contains all players and will show the latest prices available. This will save you a lot more time than comparing the player's price and going through each one. But yet again, if you find a player that currently has a bid on at 50k and the cheapest is 60k, the same rules apply. You can place a bid and still list them at a much lower price, so you're undercutting the market, being the cheapest listed and still walking away with profit once it sells. And that's really what we're looking for. And this method can apply to all types of special cards. You're looking at it from going with different types of team of the weeks, but this also applies to icons. The only thing that you'll need to do is change the quality. You change the quality from team of the week to icons, you press search and you go across each player. Yet again, finding those with bids on, add them to your watch list, compare the price, and you can compare the price with icons because there's not hundreds of pages worth of these types of players. There's normally just a couple, so it's easy to analyze what's currently there, find the lowest buy now, and make a judgment call on the player that you've added to your watch list, whether or not there's enough room for you to place a bid and make profit. Now with this, when you're bidding on these types of players, typically players valued anywhere between 10 to 50k, you're most likely to win. Anyone above 50k, that's when we're starting to look at players that could potentially be reasonably good within game. And there's slightly more competition with them because now not only are people looking to buy these players in order to trade, but they're looking to buy these players to get them as part of their team, which means as long as they get that player less than what the lowest buy now is, they don't need to take into consideration a 5% EA tax to make profit, so they're going to be able to bid at a much higher price. so you're less likely to win as many deals, but you will still be winning a lot. This is one of the easiest ways in which you can find special cards, but it's not the only way. The other way in which I look for special cards is looking at some of the old promos that were released right at the beginning of FIFA 23. This is what happens with every FIFA. Right at the beginning, new promos are added to the game, and whilst they're active, players are hyped for them, whether that be Team of the Weeks or One to Watches or whatever promo EA releases. This is also the time where there is the most of those cards listed, but as time goes on, they get rarer and rarer. Reason for this: the players that were playing FIFA at the beginning of FIFA 23, they may have been lucky to go and pack one of these players, or maybe they built up enough coins to buy one of these players. They sent them to their club to use as part of their team. They don't like FIFA anymore, they're not playing anymore. That player that they have in their club, they're not going to go and jump back on FIFA just to list it onto the transfer market. They're done playing. That player has gone forever. Not just that, but there's been loads of SBCs since then which require you to use some of these players, especially Team of the Weeks, where you would need to give them up in order to unlock a pack reward or some type of player. Those Team of the Weeks are gone forever. Not to mention that throughout the time of whilst these players were actively within packs, there were some people which didn't see the value of listing them onto the transfer market. They were going for next to discard, so they might as well have just discarded them. This also affects the player's price. As time goes on, this just gets rarer and rarer, and eventually these players, the supply is next to nothing. But there's still demand out there for them, whether it's people supporting the team that they play for, maybe just liking the player in general, or it could just be the case that they need to buy into them in order to complete more SBCs. And what normally happens for a lot of these cheap Team of the Weeks, and we do need to emphasize cheaper Team of the Weeks between 10 to about 30k, they normally increase. You can see this by looking at the FUT bin database, and you can see some of these players and they've gradually increased as time goes on. Now, of course, it's way too late to invest within them, and I did say at the beginning of the year that you should be investing into these Team of the Weeks. You can even invest into some of the Team of the Weeks which are active now, and even though it doesn't look like they're going for much, 3-4 months from now they will be valued a lot higher. But where this trader method comes in is that you can actually go back through to some of these old promos. You can find Team of the Week 1 and search each player's name in individually. Once you search, there's not going to be too many players to go through, maybe just a couple pages, but yet again, you're comparing the player prices. If you find a player which is currently listed at 15,000 coins on a buy now, but the next cheapest player listed is 20,000 coins, you could very easily buy the one at 15k, list it at 19k, be the cheapest on the market as you undercut the cheapest so that you're the cheapest, and be able to sell them while still making a reasonable amount of coins. The cool thing with this is because they're older Team of the Weeks and they're extremely rare, they're not expiring as often as the newer Team of the Weeks. So there can actually be a deal which is listed way below market value. We talk about 5 to 10,000 coins without anyone noticing for about 15 to 20 minutes. There's so many other areas within FUT because there's so many deals expiring that bots have been set up to instantly buy them so that players just don't even have a chance. With these, bots can't really get to them. And it's not worth a player setting up a bot to buy these types of players because there's just not going to be as many deals listed per hour. But it does mean that there's a gap in the market. A gap in the market where you manually can type in a player's name, search, and there's a good chance that not every single one will be a deal, but occasionally you will have a deal where there's a player listed thousands of coins below market value. You may even be able to find multiple for one player. There's been many occasions where I've searched the market and there may be a player listed at 15,000, 14,500, 13,000, and they all don't seem like there's much room for profit for me to buy the cheapest and list them, but I've noticed that the fourth cheapest ended up being 25,000. So I can buy all of those players which are the cheapest and list them 20, 21 and 23,000 and still be the cheapest. There are multiple deals like this. And all you need to do is go back to Team of the Week 1, type in player's name in manually, compare the prices and make a judgment call. Is there room to make profit? Is this player going to sell? If not, move on to the next one and just keep on doing this for every single player. Eventually, once you complete Team of the Week 1, you'll go into Team of the Week 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. You'll go until there's just way too many players listed for one type of card, and at that point, there's no point looking anymore. You can either go back to Team of the Week 1, or you can look at some of the other promos that have been active. One to watches, rule breakers, you name it, just go through each and every one of them. You can do this for just a couple minutes, or you can do this for hours, and you will continuously find deals ready for you to list onto the transfer market and sell them on. Not every single player will sell within the first hour, but that's fine. These players are extremely rare and there's no source for them. They were part of previous promos and Team of the Weeks months ago, and now they've been taken out of packs. So the only way in which people are able to get these is if EA re-releases them back into SBCs or back into packs, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. So they're likely to maintain their price or gradually increase as time goes on. If you can't sell them within the first hour, if you keep on relisting, eventually they will sell. And these are the only two methods that I'm using right now when trading with special cards. I know it's nothing fancy, but it doesn't need to be. As long as it's making coins, you're good. Any profit is good profit at the end of the day. If you do have any questions about anything, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going to see ya.